What's up, guys? Corey here with Toothless Reptiles in San Diego. You guys have been hitting me up a lot, asking me for an update on the Salvadorii facility. And so now I'm going to give you one. If I can get this giant canine. Hey, no, back it up, cheater. That's a Varanus canininus, actually. It's a new Varanid we're working with here. Everything's going really good, to be honest. We haven't had any issues with any of the caging. I've made a couple of little changes here, not even necessarily changes, but additions to things, like some other lay boxes and such. Got rid of some other caging, and that we had that closed. I also added this tarp right here. We have a female croc monitor that's been nesting in the bottom of the large enclosure. And the large enclosure, obviously, it's 16 feet wide by 12 feet deep, and all the enclosures are 16 feet tall. So the inside of that tarp is actually camo print, so it kind of looks like it's foresty. So that kind of gives her, hopefully it makes her feel more comfortable. So far, so good. And then we actually ended up getting rid of the other large male that we had, because this psychopath right there has been breeding with all the females really well so far. So we didn't really we didn't want to mess with anything else, and that big guy was kind of taking up space, so we moved him along. But as far as the caging goes, the river has been working out really well. It's been flowing in between the enclosures. All that stuff's been working really well. And I added like some foliage and stuff just in this enclosure, just to kind of mix things up a little bit, so we can get the female in there to, everybody's kind of come down right now because they're getting ready to eat today, and they know when it's feeding time. The other thing we added too that you can see behind me is I added stairs so we can get up and down in these areas. In this enclosure, this is one of the 6-foot enclosures, but it has a deck inside of it, and we can actually, you can see the Bell's Phase lace monitor down there. And then the only kind of drawback we've had so far, which was, I don't want to say completely unforeseen, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, is our big male black dragon is in this enclosure, and this is the sump enclosure. So all the water flows into this sump pond that's in the ground. And for some stupid reason, he wants to dig all the time. So he's just constantly putting dirt into these cages, or into the water system, which kind of sucks. But you can see all the enclosures still look really good. The PVC sheeting that's on the walls has been awesome. I haven't had any issues at all with any of that stuff. One of the things people were kind of asking me about was durability, as far as when the animals kind of try to dig on it. And the explanation I give them is that, you know, with enclosures that are this big, the animals aren't necessarily looking for a way out. It's not like a small AP cage where the animal literally doesn't want to be in there. This is obviously the largest enclosures these animals have ever been in, and they've been just chilling. They've been real happy with moving long ways, just moving vertically rather than laterally, which is very obviously very common with the croc monitors. That's kind of what they do. But and so they've been really curious, messing around with their cages. But to be honest, 90% of the time they're up in the basking areas, and there's obviously cameras up there, and the lighting system's been working really well. I'll take you guys inside of the larger of the croc monitor enclosures right now, just so you guys can see. Another kind of weird thing is we've been getting mushrooms in these enclosures. So this is the huge enclosure that was kind of our poster child enclosure. There's just the one female croc up here. She's the one that we've bred already, and we've been kind of keeping track of her follicle growth, and she's been doing really well. She just recently in like the last few weeks, she does not like leaving that log, which was another reason why we added the tarping here with the camo print, just to kind of make this more of a secure area for her. And we have, you can see the mushrooms and stuff that grow in here. It's kind of neat. But she basically stays inside that log, and then the end of this log is open. So if she wants to, she can nest right in there. And then we have, what's really cool, one of the things that I added was we have this opening in the wall. And this goes into a, let's see if I can turn on my light here. Cool. This goes into a lay box that's actually 3 feet deep, and it's on the outside of the wall, and there's logs in that lay box as well, so it's pretty cool. So she has this enclosure. I mean, the whole reason we wanted the one lone female in this large enclosure was just to kind of we have every lay box option you can think of in here. We have fallen trees, hollow logs, obviously a lay box where you can crawl in there. We have a barrel actually that's full of peat and a mixture of our lay box material. All this stuff has 4K cameras in it with color night vision, which is really cool. And then we have our river. This is the start of our river. And all this stuff is working really, really well. We haven't had any leaks or anything, any reason to believe that we're going to have any issues in the future. Like I said, the murkiness of the water is really just from the dirt that the big male black dragon kind of kicks into the system every once in a while, but it's not affecting, you know, the water being, you know, undrinkable or anything. I mean, not in any way that a croc monitor would care about. So, and then all these animals are on a spraying schedule, and I'll go up top on the second level. There's a little bit of a mess up there because I just got done. I just actually built this enclosure on the end so we could get rid of some of our other enclosures, but that is the huge enclosure that we have. And we'll go up on the second story so you guys can take a look at, there's a misting system. These are the 2 water monitor enclosures. We have Onyx down here. She's down here basking, hanging out. Huh, girl? Can't really see well through the Lexan, but oh, girl. And this is Onyx. She's the one who just laid the world record 20 fertile egg black dragon clutch. She's doing awesome. She's been eating very well. She likes the camera lens. And she actually laid that clutch underneath this huge boulder. So that was kind of something that was unforeseen, but always welcome. I was able to get the eggs out, no problem. No big deal. This is the start of where the filtering system starts, but and she's already been digging around and rooting around. She's actually ready to go back in with the male again in the next 2 weeks. So we'll get her, she should be cycling again already. Pretty close. I have a little bit of a mess up here because we were just pulling a bunch of sheets of PVC down because I over ordered a little bit and we got extra sheets of PVC. But this is the second story in the large croc monitor enclosure. And this is the girl that we've been keeping an eye on her follicle growth. She's also the female that we've had legitimate lockups with our male with, which are all on video and pictures and documented on our Instagram and YouTube channel as well. But all the lighting's been working really, really well. And also, we have the natural lighting coming in. And then the misting system. There's misting nozzles up here. There's 2 of them, one right there, one right here. And that just gives a light mist to the enclosure to kind of keep the humidity up. It's not at all soaking anything. It's a real fine mist, but it works out really well. We have a full-size king palm tree in here that's obviously a little over 16 feet tall. So, but everything's working really, really well in these enclosures so far. One of the negatives is this maple tree is not a happy camper in here, but we'll swap him out for like a ficus or something later on, whatever we need to do. For now, he can stay in there. I don't want to make any changes to the enclosure just yet, but pretty awesome in here. And this girl is really cool. You can see on her face, hi girl, She's got lots of dirt on her face. She's actually been digging around and nesting and all that good stuff, finding good spots to lay eggs and messing with stuff. So hopefully she finds something she likes and she'll lay some eggs for us. She's due for x-rays again in about another 3 weeks, I think. So we're spacing her x-rays out every month. And so we knew she was clear, then we bred her. There were good locks and everything. Then we noticed the male and the female were actually kind of not super happy to be together. The female was standoffish and the male was afraid of the female, which is usually a sign that she is done with the male. So we separated them, and then we'll continue to do x-rays once a month, just a single shot x-ray on a low dose radiation, so we don't radiation dose the animal, especially if it's gravid. We don't want to affect the animals in any way, and we'll keep doing that. If you guys want to check out the lay box that's behind that croc enclosure, so behind all of the cages we have this catwalk. So this is 3 feet in between where the cages start and the backside wall of the building. And all the electrical, as you probably saw in the videos of when we built it, all the electrical I did 8 feet off the ground. So there's no plugs that you run into or anything. You can walk straight through here without running into anything. And then obviously we have all of our plumbing and everything, which is still working really, really well. And like I said, we're just kind of adding stuff as we go, not necessarily changing much. And this is the lay box. So we have these 2 logs in here. So that was kind of to make some obstructions, just in case the croc monitors like to dig underneath something or on top of something, which kind of seems to be the case, where they like to dig where there's kind of fallen trees and stuff like that. So we made this, well, I made this lay box here. It's actually got 3 feet of dirt in it, so she can dig down if she wants. And we'll see if she uses it. I caught her 2 days after I built that and just put her in there so she knows that it is there. But to be frank, she hasn't been in there since. So I guarantee it's not because she doesn't know that it's there anymore. She just chooses not to use it. So they're really smart. I guarantee she knows that thing's there. I added like some random laybox areas and all the other enclosures just to kind of see what they like and don't like. But for the most part, when they are digging in the enclosures, they're digging on the ground. And then they're also usually digging in an area where they can kind of get underneath something. And we can check out the giant male black dragon. The onyx clutch, the 20 egg clutch is due to hatch, I believe, early March. Late February, early March. Hi, big guy. And, come on, focus. Late February, early March, and then she actually have a 7 egg clutch that's gonna hatch, late December, early January. So we have, in the incubator right now, we have 27 black dragon eggs that are gonna hatch between January and April. So make sure to keep an eye on those clutches. If you want one, go ahead and grab one. If you need to, you can reserve an animal. To reserve an animal, it's just full payment up front. And this big guy likes to shove his head in that corner. Ah, buddy, I know. It's because I didn't give him any hides in this enclosure. Specifically because when we breed in here, we don't want the animals to have anything to hide in, and it makes it harder for the male to get in a good position to breed the female. If the female, usually the female end up like stuck in some awkward corner, and it's just easier to not have as much stuff inside. Damn it. It's not have as much stuff inside the cages. Getting the locks back on, that's been kind of a chasing my own butt type of thing. What happens is the cages start to settle over time, and the portion, either the door moves or the portion that's holding the lock moves. So every once in a while we'll have to tap these up or down maybe 1/8 of an inch just to kind of realign them, and we'll continue to have to do that probably for the next few more months until the cages are done kind of settling in. But everything's been working really well. We're really excited about the project. You can see the facility is gigantic, and we're really happy to be able to work with Joseph Vella's animals. As you can see up here, the Joseph Vella Memorial Croc Monitor Varanus Salvadorii breeding project. So another cool thing we did was we put all these stairs on hinges, so I can actually lift these up. So these can be lifted up and put back down, so you can actually lift that staircase all the way up and stick it to a rope that's tied into the rafters on a pulley system, and you can get those up out of the way and we can bring stuff in here if we ever need to. Like I do a bunch of stuff on my car, so it's nice to have another place to work on it, but our garage is pretty awesome, so we kind of just work on it in there. Plus I don't want to disturb the animals by being in here wrenching on something. So until we get everybody cycling and happy and breeding, I don't want to mess with anything. So what they have is what they get. We're just continuing to feed them. We haven't made any adjustments to the misting system from day one. I have everybody on a watering schedule. I've been doing water changes on the pond system, which is fine, and I don't have to interact in the Croc monitor enclosures to change the watering system. It's only interacting in the water monitor enclosures, and those guys they breed like clockwork, so I don't have to worry about messing with anything or stressing them out or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's a big ass enclosure. So we've had lots of visitors. People come in, check out the facility. It's really exciting. Hopefully we get some eggs, before maybe before the end of this year, or worst case scenario, beginning of next year. So and really that would be the proof in the pudding to where we could kind of solidify the project and just keep moving forward and hopefully keep the Croc monitor cycling and keep everybody happy and healthy in here. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're on our YouTube channel, so make sure to like and subscribe. I need to post more content on the YouTube channel. I just flat out, I don't want to say I don't have the time, I just haven't been making the time to do that. And it's just so convenient that when I post like a photo on Instagram, it just automatically, posts to Facebook, and I just kind of work on those two mediums. But yeah, check out all of our stuff. Exciting things happening. Oh, and I updated the website today, so go back on there. If you look at our current events tab on our website, www.toothlessreptiles.com,